Dogara Oshoba back petrol subsidy removal and service chiefs. Flood sweeps newly-wed man in Ondo. Government abducts 9 passengers. Experts optimistic despite foreign reserves drop to $34 billion. Envoy. Population of Nigerian students in UK rose by 107,000 in 3 years. Zenith Bank CFO Mukhtar wins Africa Award and largest ever pilgrimage begins in Saudi Arabia. Okay, which story?
We have the human interest story. So I will start with the gunmen. They said they were operating at the Imo axis of Enugu-Port Harcourt Expressway and they kidnapped an Enugu-bound passengers. They killed 2 and robbed others. So according to the victims, they said, first of all, they hail from Amangwo, Olokoro in Umuahia, and they were traveling to Enugu on Saturday for a burial when they were attacked. So according to them, they said that, so the person who was speaking identified himself as a Francis, said their Sienna bus was flagged down at gunpoint near Arondi Zuogo Junction. And, the vehicle was later diverted to Arondi Zuogo Road in Imo, where they were led to a hamlet far into the bush. So according to the story, said those heavily armed gunmen stopped them and asked all of them to come down. So one of them now said, do you know who I am? Why are you asking us to come down? They say, today you will show us who you are. So they led them into the hamlet, said there were over 50 of them in that particular hamlet. And then they said, who is that one that asked who was trying to tell us or prove to us who he was? And they shot him there. One other person with them tried to escape. They shot the second person, and then they asked them to release 2 of them, the remaining 2, asked them to go back and tell the people what they saw, that they had told them not to come out to vote during the last elections. They were disobedient, they came out. They also told them to observe the sit at home every Mondays, and they are stubborn, they are opening their businesses, so they should go back and tell them in town that they are ready for them and they are coming back.
We're in trouble.
So sad. So sad. The major headline, the
Nigerians are just in trouble.
is, well, why the discos are bent on tariff increase is what the headline carries. And when you go into the story, the Abuja Electric Disco Company, which covers the Kogi State, Abuja itself, Niger, Nasarawa State, attributes this compulsory increase to exchange rate being floated. They said the fact that before they used to have, under the previous process, they were getting exchange rate at 441 Naira to $1, but now it's been revised and it's the first time in history that we're having official rates being based on market forces, and it's 750 to $1, which will have impact on the tariffs associated with electricity consumption, saying that everybody is going to pay more. There is no way to avoid that. Of course, Labour, even despite Labour's kicking, there's nothing, they say there's nothing they can do. They said that the payments of subsidy has ended under the last administration, so the government cannot subsidize power for Nigeria anymore. The manufacturers, Association of Nigeria, are complaining, saying that the tariff already went up by 187%, and the government is indebted by 75 billion, I think. Yeah, 75 billion in electricity bill. So government is owing a lot of money, but that it seems like they're transferring the burden of sustaining their business to citizens, consumers. So it's a challenge for the business owners themselves, because when you read it, they have a lot of debt they are paying in dollars. So they have to find a way to, and this is the only window. There is a window for review. But they were saying that the review wasn't meant to always be upward. The review is to review to market forces. It's just that in recent times, the consistent market forces keeps taking the price of power up. That those that are on prepaid meter can take advantage and buy bulk energy right now at the current rate before the new one takes effect. Trust me, I am going to go and buy. I hope I'll be... I have to buy.
It's scary.
Because...
It's scary. Any story?
Yes, I have the former House of Rep Speaker, Yakubu Dogara, and they also say here the elder statesman Olusegun Oshoba yesterday has hailed our president for taking decisive steps to reposition the country within 3 weeks, they say. Dogara was at the 6-year tenure of the ECWA General Secretary, Reverend Yunus Nnamdi Jr. in Kaduna State while he made, that's the Thanksgiving service, when he made this. He said that at first, if we know he was opposed to the Tinubu-Shettima ticket, but so far the president has demonstrated commendable leadership qualities. He says we stand by him on the subsidy removal, but he must be courageous to pursue the subsidy cabals and recover all the stolen monies from them and prosecute them accordingly. There's so many other people. We also have the PDP senator representing Southern Kaduna, who also commended the president on the appointment of service chiefs. He says it reflected, you know, equity and justice, and he also said he was happy he took decisive steps about taking off the subsidy, removal of subsidy, but that he should provide palliative to cushion the effects of the fuel subsidy. Oshoba also talked about how even those who were against the president during the primary and general elections have all, you know, just are now all supporting him because they see how he's already, you know, taking decisive steps. So the operative word here is decisive steps. People think he's doing well, and they're hoping to see how this pans out for Nigerians and our economy going forward.
Moving on to the Punch. Naira devaluation pushes up vehicle duties by 40%. Over 452,000 UTME candidates jostle for over 78,000 medicine spaces. Masked gunmen kidnap Ogun businesswoman, villagers rescue farmer. Clerics warn Muslims not to borrow for Salah rams. Lagos Ibadan gridlock traps motorists for hours. Discos failed to remit 208 billion naira, says federal government. And debt servicing rose to 1.24 trillion in Q1. Okay, which story are we starting with?
Okay, there's also another human interest story where kidnappers went agog this weekend. So this particular man, Jimo, who was a farmer, was planting tomatoes on his farm at Saparu village, Isalioha, Imeko Afon. This is in Ogun State, while these gunmen covered themselves with face masks, shot 5 times in the air to scare people away. And when people had run, they came and they kidnapped Jimo, who was planting. However, some farmers around him, when that happened, you know, picked up their tools and, you know, gave a hot chase to the kidnappers. So they abandoned him and they ran away. So they were able to rescue that. But that same day, after a few hours, there was also another woman who was returning from her shop, Utefila, and she was kidnapped at her residence. So she just came down from her vehicle, asked the daughter to open the gate, and then these men who were hiding in the corners rushed her. They carried her away from the vehicle, took her. They were driving down, and she had a little baby inside her vehicle as well. But after a while, they had to abandon the vehicle and the little baby and took her away. They had already made a phone call to her family members with her phone number, saying that they would call them to, you know, request for the ransom probably. But then police is investigating this. They are going after to find a way to rescue the woman.
Okay, let's do reviewing Punch. I was going to take the story ahead of the Eid al-Adha festival on Wednesday. Islamic clerics have advised Muslims to shun desperation or celebrate the festival within their means. This was said. This was said by on Sunday by Professor Taufik Abdulaziz. Warned Muslims faithful against borrowing for the Salah celebration, admonishing them to buy only what they can afford. Many people are buying cows, rams. You know, that's usually the basic norm. But if you can't afford it, whatever you have, you can. So they should buy what they can afford. They should please Allah alone and remove desperation. They should buy what they can afford. Yeah, I said that already. And pretty much it's all in submission to the sacrifice and patience of the father prophet Ibrahim. That's what the whole season is about. So Muslim faithfuls have that feedback from the cleric.
I have a story here. It's about JAM, and JAM is saying that from the data that they've gotten from the 2023 UTME, it reveals that the highest percentage of candidates that sat down for the exam chose medicine. And he said 452,443 candidates applied for medicine in Nigerian universities, but we have only 78,578 slots.
So even if all of them pass?
Even if all of them pass, they can get in.
And they're all... Go ahead.
Okay, then we also have 239,018 candidates that applied for social sciences, but we have only 97,744 slots. And then we have 227,453 candidates that applied for science-related courses, but we have only 141 397 slots.
So
That's one.
we need more capacity.
It's a very interesting one. So now, but we now have, when they go to engineering, we have over 68,000, but 163 slots. 163 candidates apply for only 68 slots.
Okay.
Now, on the other way around, they said agricultural related courses and education related courses have it in reverse. We have less candidates applying for these slots.
Yeah.
So they're giving different reasons why. A lot of people say parents determine for a lot of children what
If not, some of them
because you see children who are leaning more towards arts and humanities, but their parents are insisting from just that they must do sciences.
Yeah.
Then they're also saying on the government side too, you need to make it more attractive for these candidates. We need to tell them more what it does, and also remuneration in that field has to be better.
Let's not even pick it ourselves.
Yes.
It's a good topic, and people that are going into medicine not so much because they want to become doctors in Nigeria. They're thinking of how they can from there. Japa is a Japa. Yeah.
So, major headline: the Naira devaluation pushes vehicle duties up by 40%. Based on the CBN reform, the Nigerian Customs Service has adjusted the exchange rates. The duties for cars used to be 422 Naira to $1. Now it's not even markets. It's not. They didn't float it though. They put it at 589 to $1, and yet all the agents, freight forwarders, clearing agents, importers are calling for immediate reversal of the policy, saying that this will take them out of work, that many Nigerians will not be able to afford this, their customers will not buy the vehicles, and they would essentially be out of jobs. The conversation started with the fact that a Toyota Camry that they probably have cleared for 900,000 Naira is now going to cost 1.2 million Naira to clear. A Venza that will have cost 1.6 will now cost 2.2 million Naira to clear. And that a lot of citizens are now having to face multiple challenges. Discos would increase price. They said fuel subsidy is off and dollar is floating. Too many challenges happening to Nigerians, that this is not a very good policy. The federal government is not being sensitive to the plight of Nigerians, and whoever gave the directive is not being sensitive at all. That they need to reduce the tariffs on this because it will impact on transportation costs.
Okay.
But the government side is saying, this is free economy. This is what will happen. Once dollar goes up, everybody else would have to deal with the challenge of what.
So how do we bring dollar to go down? We need to increase manufacturing and produce and export more so we can get more. So you just have to start thinking within. It's crazy.
And more.
Okay, Daily Sun. ISWAP Boko Haram in supremacy battle. KYC. Bank customers experts expose CBN's directive on social media handle. Salah, Muslim faithful laments RAM foodstuff prices hike. Aviation unions right Tinubu warn of industry's collapse. Kogi Guba, ACF chairman worries over rising violence. And Kanu's release central to peace in South-East, says Ohaneze. Okay.
Let me take the Muslim faithful. So it's just like a continuation. It's related to what you took earlier, and is saying that Muslim faithful, as you know, we're approaching Salah and we know that government has given Tuesday and Wednesday as public holidays, but everyone is screaming and shouting. Price of everything has gone up. People are saying in Ondo State that the high cost of RAM is as a result of the removal of subsidy, and that the prices of these RAMs, they used to be in 2022 and 20, they were much lower as compared to what it is now. They're saying it goes for 100,000, 250, and 320,000 for RAMs right now. And they say that this is not even that there's a particular group of Nigerians that are benefiting from this. They say buyers are crying, sellers are also crying, because they're saying that the amount that they are buying it at is high as well. The cost of transportation because of the removal of subsidies affecting it as well. Buyers are unable to buy, so sellers have RAMs just waiting to see how Nigerians can come and buy. So everyone is affected. And there goes your, you know, what you read, which is, it's not about these things. Let us just concentrate on what we can afford. So
in the past, where one chief would just buy 20 RAMs and distribute in the neighborhood, it's not like that anymore. You can't. In reality, you can't afford more than 2 RAMs.
I heard someone was, was gifted 100 RAMs that he refused. A government person.
He refused, Debbie?
Yes, he refused.
That's patriotic. That's very patriotic.
Okay, Ohaneze Ndigbo has again appealed to the federal government to release the IPOB leader Nnamdi Kanu, according to the president of the Apex Igbo Socio-Cultural Group Chief Emmanuel Wanyanwu. He said that he made the appeal during the inauguration of the women and youth wing of the group. He said that he was insisting that Kanu's release was central to peace in the southeast. He also said that no amount of, if you like, he said even if you appoint 100 service chiefs from the southeast, that's not going to bring peace. And what's going to bring peace, according to him, is the release of Nnamdi Kanu. And that was a pretty strong statement. He said, if you ask me, my advice is for Mr. President to give what the southeast needs is the release of Nnamdi Kanu, the IPOB leader. Okay, moving on now to Vanguard. Forex scarcity persists as CBN resumes intervention. Butcher stoned to death in Sokoto for blasphemy. Tackle insecurity head-on. Baptist Conference urges service chiefs. Dogara to Tinubu brings subsidy cabal to book. Court stops Kano government from further demolition. Lagos received 7,000 petitions against land grabbers. UK waiting for Tinubu to name minister as his envoy. Subsidy, lack of license, foreign exchange, others hinder fuel importation. Ortom accuses Governor Alia of persecution. Zenith Bank's Mukhtar Adam wins CFO of the year. In governor election, Elder Council raises alarm over political violence in Kogi. Okay, which story?
Yes, so I feel marketers have not been able to import petrol into Nigeria due to mainly lack of license and foreign exchange. That's the main problem. So they said that many oil marketers have applied for the licenses and they're waiting for the Nigerian Midstream and Downstream Petroleum Regulatory Authority, NMDPRA, to release it. They're also saying, I think they looked at about 6 companies, including Etena. Those ones have gotten their license, but they've not started importing the product into the country. And they are saying because of the flotation of foreign exchange rates by the Central Bank of Nigeria, they are finding it very difficult to go into the business. So there was a visit to that by the Vanguard to many private depots in Apapa, Lagos. And they are saying that there's no even sign of any importation in the coming weeks. Those marketers are not ready to even import anything. What they have, the money available to them is not enough. The prices have tripled. So with the resources available to them, they are not even able to buy in the product. And they are waiting to have conversations with banks to see how they can get loans to be able to import. And that one is, delaying them. And the fact that also the fuel has definitely increased in some depots. They are selling like 505 Naira to a liter right now. So. Okay, we have to wrap up. Is there any story that's really important?
The security, dealing with our insecurity, the Acting Inspector General of Police, Olukayode Egbetokun, is going to be meeting with 79 police force, the mobile police squadron, to brainstorm on the security challenges of Nigeria. They said the goal of this meeting is to think up new operational strategies for improving training, tactical engagement for better public safety, and general security of all and sundry. I think it's a good agenda, and these are people that are on the streets. These are the 79 Police Mobile Force Squadron, and I'm hoping that God will give them wisdom to be able to help solve our major insecurity challenge.
All right, that's all we can take on Front Page Review. When we come back, move on to our hot topic of the day. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.